Hey, this is the Fight Nerd here now with Dave Branch here at the World Series of Fighting offices in New York City. Dave, how's it going today?
How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Now here in New York, MMA finally legalized here. Now that's exciting news in general. I remember watching you fight in Jersey plenty of times, having to go across the river to see you fight. What's it like now to have fights here in New York City, and New York State rather?
It feels good. It's an amazing thing. I think it's a great thing for the sport. I think it's going to be a big advancement, a huge advancement for the sport financially for fighters, as far as promotions, everything. Just the places for venues, where venues are held. I think it's just a really good opportunity for gyms. Like, just so many great things are going to happen from this change.
And one of those big things is that World Series of Fighting has moved here. So how does that feel to have your bosses now in your backyard?
It feels great. I can come to the office and discuss things sometimes when they need to be discussed. And it's just great to be, at home and a part of the office and part of the family, and have them really close to home.
Now, are you currently a full-time fighter, or do you do something outside of this?
Oh, I'm a full-time fighter, but I mean, I own my. I'm a full-time fighter. I teach jiu-jitsu at David Branch Jiu-Jitsu in Hoboken, New Jersey. And that's on Newark, 417 Newark Street, Hoboken, New Jersey. Sorry about that. And I have my students there, a great group of people that are there, and that's what I also do.
Yeah, so that was the free advertisement for the school. But do you ever see yourself maybe working in some kind of executive role with a company like World Series of Fighting?
I mean, it depends. It depends. Like right now, I just do some stuff with the commentary, and I touch on some things like that. I'd like to start doing some stuff with interviewing fighters and things like that, but I'd absolutely like to get into things like that because I know about the business. I've been fighting for a long time, so it's just, a lot about it. You've just been around it for a while.
Is that the kind of thing you might see yourself doing after you retire from fighting, as being a color commentator or a position similar to that?
Definitely commentary. I definitely like to do that. Definitely stuff with after calling post-fight interviews, stuff like that. I definitely see myself doing things like that, in the future for sure.
All right, let's get some color commentary from you right now then about your last fight, World Series of Fighting 30. Give us a quick rundown how that fight went for you and how are you feeling since then?
I feel good. I wanted to do more things, but it was good that I stayed out there and I spent that much time out there during that fight because it just allowed me to be real comfortable back inside the cage again. It's just like I was away from the cage for 6 months. I just came out of surgery. So it was good for me to spend some time in there with a tough opponent. I need to fight guys like that. I would give myself a B- that fight.
What would be an A for you?
If I would have knocked him out and did what I said I was going to do, made it clean, I think I made my job a lot harder than it had to be. But then I look back at it at retrospect because you always got to take the good from the bad. And, I got a lot of rounds in from it, so I got a lot of time inside the cage, and that's always a good thing. Not a lot of damage, not a lot of banging, not a lot of shots taken upstairs to the head, so, you keep the, you keep the car in order, like that. So everything's all good.
So for a fighter like yourself, what do you prefer then? Do you prefer to get the quick submission win? Because everybody obviously wants to get a quick submission or a knockout win. Do you prefer to have those kind of quick finishes, or do you like to go to war a little bit so you get some of that more time in the cage and get a feel of that world?
I mean, time inside the cage is a different experience. Like, I am truly a 5-round fighter now. Like, I am just that. Like, I can just fight 5 rounds. Because I know where inside the cage. Once you're inside the cage for a long time, you know where to rest. You know different positions. You know where to pick your spots. You just become very energy efficient, and that's I'm going to be 21. I'm 21 fights inside the cage now, and you just become very energy efficient in different positions, in different situations. Knowing how to solve the situations very quickly, very efficiently, allows you to conserve energy. And allows you to be able to fight for 25 minutes with 1 minute intervals in between each round, which is really, really tough because sometimes it gets freaking nuts in there,
And using this term energy proficient, you kind of sound like Bruce Lee a little bit. You got some fight philosophy going on here.
Yes, it's definitely true because, I mean, it takes a while, it takes a long time. You just have to be very comfortable. You have to be very You definitely have to be very comfortable. You have to be very efficient, and you're only going to be efficient if you're comfortable enough to do the techniques right and do certain things that allow you to save energy. If you're in there panicking and stuff like that, it's no good.
Well, it's very clear you've been very proficient in your time at World Series of Fighting because you've been undefeated since you've been in World Series of Fighting.
Yeah.
So what? And of course, a 2-division champion now. So what's it like to have the undefeated streak now? I mean, is that like an added sense of pressure for you?
No, it's no pressure. But what it does is that it like allows me to always question myself. What would I do to beat David Branch?
So your opponent is yourself when you were in the cage more than anybody else.
Oh yeah. I'm not fighting now. I'm not like I'm training for me. You know, because I can't say too much, but I'm training for me. And, you know, I say to myself, like, what would I do to beat me? I look at my last fight and I say, what would I do? How would I beat this guy if I were me? And then that's what I'm going to work on.
Now, you may have just alluded to the fact that you might know who's up next for you. I don't know if you're allowed to say what's coming down the pipe for you, but
I have a feeling. I have a feeling who it is, but I can't say anything right now because nothing's confirmed.
Okay. When do you expect them to get back in the cage? I guess is the safest question to ask.
I like it to be soon. You know, I got 2 belts, so I got a lot of business to take care of. There's people that want those belts, so I got to make sure that I go to defend it.
That's pretty crazy that you have 2 belts at the same time with this company. What did they say to you when you told them you wanted to do that?
Well, at first it was just like a little bit, and then now it's like it's better because I think that they know that it's not going to be a permanent fix. You know, this is not going to be the way it's going to be forever. Obviously, I don't plan on fighting at 205 forever. I got 1 or 2 more. And then I'm going to relinquish that belt and just focus more on the middleweight.
Now you're splitting some time, I imagine, between training in New Jersey and also training Renzo Gracie. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what's it like training at Renzo's now? Have you? I guess I should really ask my real question here. Have you had a chance to train yet with Anthony Bourdain?
I haven't, but I see him around a lot. You know, I see Anthony around a lot, and he trains, and he's very focused. He's very involved in the art of jiu-jitsu, and very. He's definitely got the bug. You know, he's definitely very into it. You know, he's very into the art, and whenever I see him there, he's just a student. You know, and he's just a very humble individual. He's just there doing his classes and learning the techniques and learning how to choke people and do certain things like that. The different joint locks, the sophistication of ground and newaza, and you know, he's a very interesting guy to watch. You know, because like you know his field is like food, I believe, something like that. And to see him like really into something like that is like really cool. You know, jiu-jitsu really does attract everybody from every different walk of life.
And you also train with Chris Weidman, I believe, down there, correct?
I've trained with Chris a lot, you know, in the years. You know, me and Chris have known each other for a long time.
Are you still training with him now at Renzo's at all, or is he?
No, I haven't trained with Chris in a while, you know, in a few years now. But you know, I see he's been doing really big things, you know, and I've been really happy and excited for him and stuff like that, for the things that he's been able to accomplish in his career. And it was a little upsetting to see him lose the way he did. You know, I know that he's got more in him to beat a guy like that, but sometimes you know it's when you fight tough guys like that, it could be anybody's night. You know.
Well, he's gonna have a second chance against Rob very soon. So how do you see Chris doing in this rematch?
I think that if he's a little bit more efficient with the way he implements his strategy and the way he implements certain things, he's going to be able to get this guy. You know, I think that, you know, he can get this guy. I think he's definitely got the tools to get him. I mean, Luke is a tough opponent. You know, he's got a lot of things that can give Weidman adversities. That can give a lot of different guys adversities. I mean, he's a very tough individual. You have to fight him very efficiently. All
right, now we'll wrap this thing up real quick so you can get back to eating hors d'oeuvres and hopefully getting some real food after this. But one last time, just plug that school again for us. Where is the Dave Branch BJJ school?
David Branch Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy is in Hoboken, New Jersey, and that's in 417 Newark, 417 Newark, Hoboken, New Jersey, and it's on the 2nd floor on top of the car wash.
And is there a website to go with that?
Yes, davidbranchjujitsu.com.
All right, so everybody, you can go check that out if you're in Jersey. Go train with Dave Branch. Dave, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you again in the World Series of Fighting cage sometime soon.
Definitely, and at David Branch Jiu-Jitsu on Twitter, and at David Branch Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram as well.
So follow him or else he's going to come find you. Thank you so much, Dave.
All right, thanks a lot.